right, we are here at my outdoor worm bin, and today we are going to do some cool things. We are going to check on the oak leaves that we put in here. We're going to add this whole container of coffee right here, and we're going to check on the Floofah experiment that we've been doing. And right away, as I dig under, we are getting some good movement from some worms and some other bin critters in here. Now, it has been 20 days since we were in here last to check it out. Look at all those worms. This is fantastic. So yeah, it's been 20 days since we were in here last, and we are expecting to see some of the food scraps probably, and I really want to see how the leaves are doing because we put these in here about a month and a half ago, and we just want to see how they do compared to how some of this cardboard does. Now, you'll notice that there is a lot of cardboard on the top, more than we usually see when we come in here, and that's because we have been bulking this worm bin up, and we're going to keep doing that, and I think the next time we'll go ahead and give it a harvest. But yeah, as I'm pulling aside some of the material, the worms are all over this, and I think this is an avocado shell right here. Let's see if there's a bunch of worms in here or not. Just like that. Oh yeah, check it out. Those avocado shells never disappoint. All kinds of worms hiding out in there. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and see what else we put in here so we can see what we're looking for. So we started by putting down our Floofah experiment, and then we added some banana peels, celery stalks, and some strawberry tops. Next, we added this avocado shell and another one, and we put lettuce stalks in them. Then we added an apple core, a tomato top, cucumber slices, along with some strawberry tops and small cherry tomatoes. Finally, we added our worm chow, used coffee grounds, and pulverized eggshell grit, and then we added a whole bunch of damp shredded cardboard, and we are seeing that in here all over the place. Now, I think we put a lot of coffee down because I am seeing a lot of that kind of gritty texture of it, and the other thing that, has kind of changed since the last time we were in here is it has been cold. We got down to freezing twice in the last 20 days since we were in here, so I would expect the worms to slow down a little bit more than we expect to see them in the summer, and that might actually be reflected in the Floofah. So I think we're seeing that right here, and let's check it out. Yep, it doesn't look like it's gotten too much further along. I mean, it kind of does, but it didn't disappear or anything like it did in the urban worm bag. And again, I think that's because this is sitting right outside and is exposed to all the different temperatures and rain, etc. that's out there. And it really has not been raining very much, but we just checked the outdoor one, and it also looked just about the same as before. And again, I kind of attribute that to how cold it's been lately. And check it out, they go all in and out, and they really do love to go in and out of this Floofah. And I also saw that when previously I'd put in loofah. So we also want to look at that tag. Looks like it is coming along a little bit, but that's one of the things we want to check on, that in the string that puts them together. And when we checked on the string outside, I gave it a little tug and it actually gave away, which was much better than what we had seen before when it looked like it was a little bit taut. So I think the string's breaking down as well. And let's go ahead and just kind of dig underneath and see how everything is going. They're making really good worm castings, and we are seeing that right here in the center. And look at that. Got some of the leaves, we got worms all over the place. I'm really liking how this worm bin is doing this winter so far. And just a little localized worm ball there. Whatever they're going after is some kind of food. There is nothing in here that is kind of making them upset or wanting to make a worm ball because of external physical factors. So any worm balls we see here are because of the food that is all around them. And oh my gosh, a 3-for-1 avocado shell. Okay, anything in here? Nope, mostly dry shredded cardboard. So they must have eaten all the flesh out of this, so they weren't as interested in it. These avocado shells are going to take absolutely forever to break down. They kind of get smaller and they get crisp and brittle, but take forever. Okay, so let's kind of go to the sides real quick and see if there's anything special about what we see here. I'm seeing a lot of shredded cardboard, so it's almost like we have a little worm bin inside of a worm bin, because right in the center was where they were all at, which means I kind of got to them right when they were kind of finishing with the food. If they had eaten all the food, I would have seen them more spread out and more towards the side. And sometimes the sides can also get a little dry, so you might see a little bit less worms there as well. And oh yeah, check it out. This must have been one of the two of the ones that I put in last time, and lots of great worms right there. I think there was a lettuce stalk in there, but they have absolutely devoured that. Lettuce is certainly one of their favorite fast foods, so I do like to feed that to them. So we'll just kind of put them back in their home and keep digging around here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to empty the rest of that coffee container in here, and I will just mix it up really good. And I may need to bring the sides of this worm bin up because I've been bulking it and it's getting bigger and bigger. Right now it's folded just about in half on the sides. Yep, things are just a little bit drier over here, so that makes sense based on us not getting too much rain lately. Okay, let's kind of make a hole here. I'm going to lift the sides up slightly so we can get in here and move around as we put the coffee in. And here we go, right here. Just going to kind of shake it out. It is clumped together and there's all kinds of mold in there. We're actually been drinking some coffee that has mushrooms in it, and I think that is helping to get some of the moldy spores or whatever I'm seeing in here. It's just kind of molded up a little bit quicker than I've seen in the past with my coffee grounds that I collect, but that could just be me having some wishful thinking.
It was a crazy critter that just crawled out the bag.
Crawled out? Like
Yeah.
an actual critter?
Yeah.
Like a mammal or an insect? Or...
No, like an insect. It's over by you somewhere.
Thanks a lot. It's kind of scary. Just as long as you don't see it crawl on me.
Oh, we'll see. I'll let you know.
All right, so we've got a good hole going here that we're going to put our food in. And since they pretty much got rid of all the food, it looked like to me, I mean, there's a lot of worms there and it was wet and moist, but I didn't see any like whole food. Stuff like this is just kind of the skin of the tomato. I think we can give them a pretty big feeding. I'm going to go ahead and put this paper towel down, and then we'll put some shredded cardboard in there that has been pre-dampened, and we'll put the Floofah right on there. So I know it seems like we have an endless supply of these watermelons, but we really do love them, and a lot of times we just can't eat all of them because our boys are not always in town. But we're going to go ahead and start with this watermelon right on top. You know what? I think I want to do it like that. Last time we had it the opposite way and it had a cool like webbing of, you know, whatever this is on the Floofah, but now we're going to do this and just see how it does. So we'll also go in with some bananas, which are slow foods, and that watermelon is a super fast food. Go just like that. And then we've got some cherries that we'll dump in. Just kind of spread those out all over. And then these right here are from Thanksgiving. This is potato peels. And I think it's always important to freeze your potato peels because if you don't, the skins will kind of start to grow potatoes. And if something is growing in your bin, the worms are not going to eat that. They will only eat dead or decaying matter. So I'm going to put some of these frozen potato skins all around just like that. See if I can break them up a little bit better. And this is turning out to be a pretty massive feeding. But with the number of worms I saw in here, I don't think they're going to have a problem taking care of it in about 2 to 3 weeks. And then, you know, I can't resist strawberries, so we're going to put those in there. And I actually have a strawberry patch growing in my garden right now. So I am really happy with this feeding that we've got here. And this right here is just some worm chow. Not needed if you don't have any, but this is just expired grains from my pantry that I like to put in here to get rid of. And it's just another food source for them. And here's where we usually put coffee grounds. We've got a little bit on the side, so not to be outdone, we'll put some coffee grounds on there. And again, coffee grounds aren't necessary either, but it's just a way for me to put them into my garden and get all the nutrients that are in them and the nitrogen into my garden instead of into the landfill. And this is just some pulverized eggshell grit, and it's really good for the worm bin because it acts as a buffer. So it helps to buffer the pH and it adds some calcium and other nutrients to my garden as well. So now we'll just bury it with some of the stuff that's already in here, and just like that. Now all of my food that I put in here always comes from my freezer. As we are eating the food and we create food scraps, I just have a container in my freezer that I put it in because I think it is very important to kind of physically break down the food on the cellular level and help to burst, you know, the liquid that's in there, because water when it freezes expands, and that helps the worms and especially the microbes to start breaking it down quicker. So next in our quest to bulk up this bin, we're going to put a lot of damp shredded cardboard. I like to use my rain barrel to dampen the cardboard, but if you don't have that, you can use tap water as well. It's just fine. All right, so in we go just like that, and then one more handful should round it out. Actually add a little bit more. We put a lot of coffee in there, so I want to make sure this thing stays moist, and this is really moist cardboard. I think if we were to squeeze some of it, we'd get more than a couple drips. Yep, we got a bunch of drips, but that's okay. In fact, we will probably have to come back in here in about a week and water this in because it will dry up pretty quick, even though it's cold out, because we have not seen rain in a little bit. So I hope you found this video helpful. And if you did, hit that subscribe button and give me a like. And if you want to see how you can get compost worms for free and how this worm bin got started, check out this video right here. So I hope you're having a great day. I hope your worm bins are doing fantastic. So happy vermicomposting, everybody. Take care now.